wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test, to train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide, to make sure they understand the power that's inside. Pokemon, it's you and me. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon, you're my best friend. A world we must defend. Pokemon, a heart so true. I know our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon, yeah. Hey everybody, it's Arquin Solis here. And as you can tell, I didn't go with the original do 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 do, but I just did. So anyway, here we go. We got Pokemon. So yeah, I am here to discuss about Pokemon and Nuzlocke. Those unfamiliar, Nuzlocke is a sometimes blind, sometimes not, where people want to try having the Pokemon games in a tougher experience. Though I prefer the blind because you never know what you're gonna get. Yeah. As for why I have Pokemon Y up there, because I got Pokemon Y. I don't have Pokemon X, I only have Pokemon Y as my icon. So, I only have Pokemon Y. I have currently 6 gym badges and 277 Pokemon, I think, registered in the Pokedex. And most caught, yeah. Except for the I don't like the fact that some of the Pokemon you discover, I know it's mostly to, I'll get to that in a minute. Right now, Nuzlocke. So, Nuzlocke Challenge, it's for more of the expert Pokemon people who want to have a fun time, where they can only catch one Pokemon on each route. That's one of the rules. You can only catch one Pokemon on each route, unless it is a duplicate. And the duplicate clause is basically if you find a Pokemon that you have already captured on a different route or seen, no, probably just captured. Then, yeah, just captured. If you captured a Pokemon on a different route, yes, if you capture a Pokemon on a different route, that means you can bypass that Pokemon. It won't count towards your towards the count of that Pokemon on that route. Yeah, I know it's a little confusing to me, but I think there's another rule that states if you have seen a Pokemon on a different route, but seen it on a previous route, then you can still capture it. That's the duplicate clause. I don't know why I say clause. Clause. Blah blah blah. Anyway, I have never done a Nuzlocke before. I just like watching people do a Nuzlocke. I might do it if I get X. I have played Y mostly through the game, sort of. But as you can tell, 6 badges, yeah. So but I don't know. It'll just be more tougher, I think, if I try that. But then I had a thought, because in these games you're able to get a certain set amount of Pokemon they give you, like in the game they give you your starter, then later on, spoilers, in case you guys want to do a blind Nuzlocke, don't listen to me, because there will be spoilers about what's going to happen later on. So just turn it off right now, turn off the video on YouTube, and just go play your blind Nuzlocke if you like. But there are like others later on that you get for free. I think I'll just leave it as that. I'll leave it like that. I won't spoil it for anybody. But you can get free Pokemon. Sort of like how you got Lapras free in the Slivko building in the original games. Yeah, that's no spoiler. Because, you know, it's from the previous games. People won't know anything. So what else? What other rule? Oh yes, no healing items while in the middle of a battle, be it in the wild or with the gym leader or with a trainer. You can't use any healing items in battle. You can use them in the field afterwards, but not when you're in battle. That, I think, is a nice flexible rule because I like that rule. It's a good rule. I know there are also people who like Pokemon Ami, and these are things, and super training, things that would endear your Pokemon and make them tougher, except in the Nuzlocke, no Pokemon Ami. That is a rule. No Pokemon Ami. I know this would be harsh, this rule. I'm just making up. I know there is certain Pokemon in the wild that you can only capture, like, I don't know, like in their second evolution form or in their last evolution form, but you can't exactly find their first evolution form in the wild. And that's why they rely heavily on you using the breeding center. You know, where you leave your Pokemon to be leveled up and stuff. Now, this is a rule I decided. No, I don't think anybody else made up this rule. No use of the breeding center. You can't use the breeding center to help level up your Pokemon. You can't use it to gain an extra Pokemon or, you know, from an egg or anything. You can't use any eggs. That's a rule. What else was there? I know there was possibly some other rule, but it's insignificant to me right now. I think those are the three main rules that I really think would make a good Nuzlocke challenge. Especially the breeding center one, especially for those completionists out there who want to actually fill the Pokedex. That would be so harsh, but it makes sense. I'm trying to think what else there was. No rare candies. That's a rule. You can't use any rare candies in the game. You can either sell them, you can sell the rare candies, but you can't use them. No performance enhancers whatsoever. No HP up. No protein, iron, calcium, carbos, and all the rest. None of those. I think this would be an interesting Nuzlocke if people did it the way I'm thinking of doing it. I can't really think of anything else at the moment. Oh yes, no trading Pokemon. Now that's a rule. You can't trade Pokemon in your Nuzlocke. Now, that might be a rule you might want to be lenient on, depending upon whether you feel like you can trade a Pokemon that you feel like you can get rid of. But you have to count it as the Pokemon that you're getting for the town or wherever the trade is going to take place. You can't. If you decide to trade your Pokemon, it'll still count as the town's Pokemon. The new one that you get, it won't nullify. Like say in like one town, you can trade a Love Disc for a Steelix. You can do that. You can trade those two, but Steelix will count as your Pokemon for the town because Love Disc, you can find them. You can find them by fishing for them with an old rod in the town. And that's the only trade I've seen so far that would make sense, I guess. But I think, but that's somebody else's rule. People are a bit finicky about that rule. I think it's just a brand new rule that I've seen. I think I prefer not to use the trading at all. So you can't trade Pokemon at all. No trading Pokemon. I can't really think of many other rules. And even if I did, I'd probably just go off in a tangent of how much I love Pokemon and what I would say. What else is there? I was going to suggest about no TM usage, but no, that's a bit too unfair. Especially since people can't use the breeding center and no trades. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. So other than that, you can level up your Pokemon and hopefully none of them will die. Because yeah, that's basically the major one rule of the Nuzlocke challenge. Once your Pokemon faints, I can't believe I forgot the most important rule. Once your Pokemon faints, you either put it in a separate box or release them. You have to do that. Otherwise, once it faints, it dies for good. So that's the major rule of the Nuzlocke, which I can't believe I totally overlooked. I knew I was forgetting something, but the major rule. God. Anyway, so that is all really of the Nuzlocke's things. So let's go over them again. Once your Pokemon faints, it's actually dead, so you can't use it anymore, and you have to release it back to the wild or put it in a separate PC. But some people would just feel a bit sad and lonely to actually, have them in the PC. So yeah, temptation and the sadness would get too much to them, so it's best just to release them. No using items outside. Sorry, no using items inside a battle. I know there's a few like other people who use healing items. You can use ordinary items like attached to your Pokemon, but no healing items. No like revives or potions. No trading Pokemon. No Pokemon assists like me and all that super training and rare candies and proteins and all those stuff, enhancing things. And no was the rule I just made up? I can't remember. Oh yeah, no use of the breeding center, and that's it. So those would be the major 5 rules that I would have for my Nuzlocke. I know it might be tough going. Oh, and of course, yes, I forgot. I forgot one important thing. You can't use the experience share at all. It has to remain off at all times. So 6, count 'em, 6 major rules. So that's it. That's all I really have to say about the matter, really. I just wanted to let people know that those are the 6 major rules that I would have for my Nuzlocke if I was doing one. And I'm wondering if people might do it too. I know it might seem unfair at first, but if you have patience and be careful, I'm sure you'd be able to survive your Nuzlocke experience. Especially a blind one, because I love watching blind Nuzlocke's challenge of Pokemon Y and Pokemon X, because it's so funny. Not funny in the way, but you know, it just brings me joy because I love to see people challenge themselves. It's very good. Anyway, and really that's all I have to say about the Nuzlocke basic rule set, and yeah, so that's it. Bye!